Hi, everyone. This is Judy Garcia. I am the career counselor for the College of Science. And I want to introduce Anida Len, who is an alumni. And I would like to, so I'm going to start with Anida. Why don't you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and give us a little background.
Yeah, so like Judy said, my name's Anida. I attended SJSU from 2014 to 2018, graduating in May 2018. And a little caveat, I'm not College of Science major. I actually majored in Biomedical Engineering, but because we take very similar classes, I worked as a tutor and coordinator for the College of Science Advising Center for 3 years. So I'm very close with the College of Science. And now I am a reliability engineer at BD Biosciences here in San Jose. And I've been there for the past 2-ish years now. Yeah, that's a short bio.
Great. Okay, so tell me, why did you decide to major, or how did you decide to major in biomedical engineering?
So I've always liked the sciences like biology, chemistry, but I knew I didn't want to be a doctor or a nurse. I didn't have that interpersonal skills and that very high stress, be able to manage it. But I still want to contribute to healthcare. Like that has always been a big thing for me. So becoming a biomedical engineer was the next best thing and a great fit. So that's what I went for.
Did you have any experience in like high school that led you to that? So other than just being interested in science, you just really wanted to just not really focus on the health side of it, but
yeah. So I think it may sound a little basic, but the really core classes is what kind of directed me to my major. I loved biology and I loved my physics classes where I had hands-on projects and I can make things like confetti cannons or like physical cars and stuff. And I thought just integrating the two would be a great fit.
Great. All right. So my next question is, how did you find, so internships or special projects? So how did you reach out as a student and find opportunities that would give you experience?
Yeah, so I actually had a variety of different internships and project experiences at SJSU. And so I'll just briefly talk about 3 short ones. The first was working at the advising center. I was a tutor for 2 years and then a tutor coordinator, so in charge of all of the tutors and the students for my last year. And through that, I just talked to Dr. Jamie after applying on Handshake, and then we connected and went through the interview. It was super easy. Handshake made it very accessible for me. And I was only a sophomore, so I didn't have like much experience in resume building yet, but Handshake made it easy. And then another good experience I had was as a research student for the Department of Chemistry. So even though I'm engineering, like you can do research in other departments and other colleges. So Dr. Wolcott was doing some research about like nanodiamonds and chemistry and cancer cells, and it sounded so interesting. And all I did was just Google all of the different professors in the Department of Chemistry. I saw his research and I loved it, so I emailed him. And then from there, it went into more of like an interview process. So that was a very easy way to connect also. And then, so I was there for 3 years. And then my last year, I got an internship with a biotech company in Sunnyvale. And that was also through Handshake. So all these resources, these SJSU websites, they're very helpful.
That is great. Great advertisement for Handshake too.
I love Handshake. It's so good.
This should get more students to definitely check it out. That's great. Okay, so you kind of started leading into my next question, which is, what would you say were your key benefits of attending SJSU?
So I think SJSU has really great networking opportunities. Like everyone there has a really good work and school culture. Many students I know did internships or had part-time jobs. Even some of my teachers had other side jobs or side projects. So I think just the culture there is, it's not just about school and your classes, it's also about getting these industry skills. So SJSU was a great place to become a well-rounded person for that.
Great. All right. So what skills and insights now are you gaining from working remotely?
Yeah, so I think a really big one was learning how to communicate better through emails and just like writing, because in my company, usually if I don't make a clear email, I can just walk over to the person's desk, clear it up, ask a couple of clarifying questions, but you can't do that anymore. And when you're on deadlines, you don't have time to send them another email and wait a couple days for a response. So just having a lot of clear written communication has been key during this time. And then of course, like learning how to go through these IT issues. I started this meeting on mute, so just being aware of like things like that. And also like the patience acquired from helping other people with these issues, because I've seen a lot of younger people at my company helping out some of the older engineers who never use Zoom or Skype. So just getting patience and also communicating clearly in that aspect as well.
That's great. Yeah, we're all learning a lot. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So I want to talk a little bit about networking. So how are you, I don't know if you can reflect back when you were at San Jose State and now is, so how are you continuing to network? What do you think is, it's important to network, and I think especially now during this time. So I wanted to ask you about how you, you know, did that as a student and how you are, you know, effectively networking now.
Right, yeah. Networking as a student was a lot easier for me than now, just because SJSU provides so many resources with like the career fairs, or different clubs are hosting like tech talks where industry professionals come in and give a little insight of their jobs. So it was a lot easier to just go and attend those and meet people in person there. With going into the industry world and my company, they don't host many of these things for you. Like you need to reach out on your own. So the one type of event that they do host is like a tech talk where we can learn about immunology, cell therapy, more biology. And it's really good for people on the hardware engineering side like myself to go be able to network with some of our biologists. We're in the same building, but two very different functional groups. So yeah, that's what I've mostly been doing for networking. I really miss the opportunities that SJSU had so easily provided.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so my last question is, you've covered a lot of really great information. So what would be your key advice, tips for students in the College of Science today?
So you might have to edit this out. I don't know if SJSU is going with this methodology, but I think taking your time is a very important aspect to your education. I know SJSU is really pushing for 4-year graduation rates, but different people have different thresholds for how much they can take. And I think if taking so many classes is putting your mental health at risk, or making your performance worse in those classes, then it's really no shame in taking your time and taking it a little slower. Yeah, I wish I took it a little bit slower at SJSU, just because there's so many other opportunities outside of classes. Like I wish I engaged more with my professors or engaged more in the clubs that I was involved in instead of just being a side member. So taking your time is encouraged from my point of view. but I know SJSU really wants that 4-year rate going up.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting point. And what I want to add to that is I recommend that students, I think because we're all working from home and not with others, this is a really important time to expand your network however possible. And I think with the student orgs for sure. Over the summer, I was recommending students just update their LinkedIn profile and invite more classmates and faculty and friends to connect with them, because that's going to be a network that's going to serve them well for probably quite a while. And you never know how you're going to find an internship or a job, you know, in addition to Handshake or anything else. But now that we're, you know, pretty much virtual with so many things, and including student organizations, I'm really encouraging students to also join more, you know, join organizations, and hopefully maybe they can find the time to chime in and join some of these meetings, or catch a recording of a speaker or a topic if they can't make it because of school or work. And I think, you know, all those things are going to be even more important, you know, going forward. So
yeah, especially the networking from college, it translates into your professional career. Like, definitely most of my peers from my classes or from some of the clubs I was in, now we're in competing industries or competing companies. So we'll see each other at the same conferences or same trade shows, and it's very useful to connect with everybody you can.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Is there anything else you want to add at this point?
Not much, just hang in there, everyone. I know remote learning is a huge learning curve and something to get used to, but I have confidence that SJSU is supporting you well.
Yeah, we're all going to support you well. So, all right. Anita, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Judy. Thank you for inviting me back.